You can think of subtraction as takeaway. If you have 5 and take away 2, how many do you have left? 3. 3 is called the difference, because 3 is the difference between 5 and 2. Addition can help you learn subtraction. How much do you need to add to 5 in order to get 7? Well, it's the same amount as what's left when you take 5 away from 7. Subtraction with numbers larger than 10 is no problem, just as long as you remember to first subtract the ones and then the tens. That way, the numbers you are subtracting are simple. The beetles in this backyard build their sandcastles using lots of different blocks. Just make sure you choose the exact same shape and size for each empty space in the castle. Building a sandcastle to look exactly like another can be pretty tricky. Look closely at the completed castle and put the same size and shape blocks on the new castle. When you're finished, the two castles will look exactly the same. Sometimes the beetles insist that their castles have symmetry. That means if you draw a line down the middle of the castle, the shapes on one side of the line are the exact opposite of the shapes on the other side of the line, like they're flipped. Clocks have a shorthand and a longhand. The shorthand is for the hours. The longhand is for the minutes. For every time the longhand goes all the way around the clock, the shorthand advances forward by only one number. On some ladybugs, 10 dots are grouped together to make them easier to count. That is how a number gets 2 digits, like 25. The 5 is in the ones place, so it equals 5. But the 2 is in the tens place, so it equals 20. Money is what you use to pay for food, clothes, computers, games, candy, anything. Pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters are money. You can add them together to make a larger amount. Just remember how much each coin is worth. If numbers or shapes repeat themselves in the exact same order, that's called a pattern. Look at the beginning of a pattern to see which numbers or shapes are repeating. Then you can continue the pattern for as long as you want. A sequence is a group of numbers in order. By looking at the first few numbers in a sequence, you can tell what numbers come after them. You can count forwards, count backwards, and even skip count. Patterns and sequences can become really challenging, but the rules haven't changed. Simply look at the beginning of the pattern or sequence and continue it the same way it starts. It's time to add. Addition means putting together 2 or more numbers to get a sum. 3 plus 2 equals 5. 5 is called the sum. You need to know a little about place value when the sum of 2 numbers is greater than 9. Just remember that there's a ones column and a tens column. Different places in a number have different values. Adding numbers bigger than 10 isn't so different than adding small numbers. Just remember to add the ones column first and the tens column second. That way you'll get the right sum easily. If you are trying to figure out how big something is, that's called estimating. To help the caterpillars to their cocoon, you have to estimate which size branch will fill the holes in the maze. Sometimes the hole is too big for one branch, so you need to attach more than one together. Estimate how many and try it out. To help the caterpillars to the cocoon, you have to figure out which stick to use. And you have to decide how many of those sticks you need to fill the hole. That's 2 different measurements to estimate. If you compare any objects, animals, or bugs, you will see that some are the same and some are different. You can also compare ants and see how they're the same and different. Like people, there are lots of ways the ants can be the same and different. When the ants are sorted into rooms, it can be by either 1 or 2 of their features. Just remember, they belong in the same room because they have something the same. When you're sorting, you can find which group something belongs in by comparing it to items that are already in the groups. That's how you can find which room an ant belongs in. Just compare them to the ants already in the rooms.